What's up everybody, this is Max and today I will be telling you more about the Traktor S4. Basically my video today is for those of you who are looking to buy a new controller or buy a controller for the first time and still trying to make up your mind. Let me help you by giving you more information about the Traktor S4. Now, I've never been a professional DJ. I've never done this for a living, but I've been really into the music and mixing and making music for more than 10 years. And this was my first piece of equipment, and it was really hard decision for me to know which equipment to get commit to because, as you know, DJ equipment can be really expensive. However, after a lot of research, I had a couple of pieces in mind, and then it came up to two machines, which is the Pioneer DDJ T1 and the Traktor controller S4. And after doing more research, I found that it's no-brainer. Everything that I needed, everything that I was looking for, I found it in this machine. Now, today I'll walk you through the interface and everything on the machine, and in a later video I will fire it up and start telling you about the features and what machine can do one by one. Again, remember, I've never done this professionally. I'm learning as I'm going, but again, it's really interesting, and if you know the basics about whatever music you want to mix, you can really pretty much use it for anything you would like to. As you can see here, I only have my camera only can give me that much of space, but both sides are identical, so I'm going to be explaining about this side, and this side is going to be exactly the same. You will notice that you have more than one area in this controller. First of all is going to be the deck controller, the deck and the deck controller. You have a very flexible and very, I don't know, one thing I really liked about this is that all the materials looks like heavy duty materials. It doesn't look like it doesn't have the cheapy plastic feelings to it. I really like that. I've worked with Pioneer CDJs before, and I worked with Seratos, and really this one is on top of them all. So you're gonna have the jog in here. You'll use it while you're scratching. While you're mixing, if you would like to scratch, the surface acts like an LP, and on the side, if you want to just look through your track and search, this is really flexible and really it feels good, and it feels heavy. Also, when you're trying to locate a song, I'll show you later on in the next video how there's very easy ways to pick up a song right now and go through your library. You can also use this one. Now on top of it right here, you're gonna find the FX. It's basically those three buttons and this mode button. We're gonna see in the next video how do they act. This is to activate. You have two modes. You have the chain mode where you can control and manipulate more than 3 or even 6 effects, or you can use each one of them as an individual effect, and this button will be firing the effect or turning on and off. And you have over here the dry and wet knob. It gives you just the amount of effect you want to apply on the track, and this is also for on and off. The load button is really cool right here. When you are searching through a track, you can just simply hit load button and it's loaded to whatever deck you'll be on, whether it's C or D. This is also to switch between C and D because each side will control on the software two different decks. You have the regular deck and you have something called sample deck or something called remix deck. It's really cool. We're gonna go through it when we fire it up and connect it to the real actual software. Right here is the loop area. It's really very easy, self-explanatory. If you want to do your own loop, you have the in and out button, and then you have this button over here that will simply just guide you through your loop, so it can move the loop for you back and forth. And this one is to set the size of the loop, because when the machine is on, you will notice here that you will have the value of what's the loop that you're applying, and you just need to hit it once. If you want a 4 bars loop, 8 bars loop, 32, it's really cool, and it's just one click. And there's also, I'm jumping to another thing, there's also really cool buttons in here that are called quantize and snap. That will really help you in case you are an amateur like me. When you're throwing a loop, if you have the snap button on, it will snap to the very first next beat, so you don't have to like be very accurate. And the quant will quantize the beat, and it will give you really sharp, really clean loop until you will be able to do your own loop. Now, as I told you, we're gonna be able to control another sample deck, and those buttons basically are for the sample deck. You can control a sample, you can turn it on and off, or you can grab a sample from the software, and you can also use these to fire the sample or mute it. However, those are the hot cue buttons. They come really handy and useful because it's on the fly. You'll be playing your mix, you'll find a nice cool point, that cue point that you want to store, you just hit it right here. And it's also expandable. There's some options that you can go and you can expand, and you can have a second set of hot cues. So basically you can have up to 8 hot cues on each deck, and it's really cool, really helpful. Right here you'll find the shift button. The shift button will basically take most of those knobs and buttons to another page or another option. For example, like if you hit shift and you hit Q button, it will delete the Q point that you assigned. It's really cool. Again, once we get more into the software, you will see it. It's really cool. You have the shift, you have the sync button, which is something also for amateur DJs like myself. If you have a certain track playing right here, you just hit sync over here and sync on the other track, and automatically when you load the track, it will be synced to the master deck that you will be playing on. You also have the tempo right here, tempo knob. It's really, again, everything like this is right here. This is, I don't know if you can see the texture. It's really cool, like kind of metalish. Everything in here, all the knobs, I'm not really a big fan of things that can break really easy, and this thing looks like it can stay healthy forever. So that's briefly again all the knobs and buttons on the deck. We'll move to the second part. Let me bring this closer a little bit. We'll move to the second part, which is the mixer part. Again, really cool. You basically have mixer for 4 channels, and that's pretty much everything you need. It will cover pretty much from amateur DJs, beginner DJs, to, I would say, a medium-sized club DJ. It will really help because those 4 channels can be really manipulated and can be assigned however you like. For example, I always like to keep the D channel for a live input, and I connect my iPad. You can connect your keyboard, and you can basically use this as a mixer, and you can affect whatever channel that whatever you're playing with. Anyways, let's go through one of the channels one by one and talk about the buttons and their features. Of course, the volume button up and down. You have the Q button, which will allow you when you're mixing, which will allow you to hear what's going on in your track when you're trying to mix. This filter is something really cool. It's basically a preset filter that you can either go and change it, and I believe it's the effect on a Denon or a Pioneer machines. I'm not really sure. However, this effect, once you hear it, it's really cool. It just goes back and forth, and it's really helpful for when you're mixing. And then you will find your low, mid, and high. Again, I'm really amazed and I'm really happy about the quality. That's why I keep talking about it. Everything here looks and feels good, and the knobs, as you can see, like you can try to take them out, but it's not really easy. It's really cool. This is what I like about the machine. It looks like heavy duty and rugged. And also right here you're gonna find the FX 1 or 2. Unfortunately, my camera couldn't grab better than this video, but in the end I'll show you every button and how they look like. So basically you have right here FX assigned 1 or 2, and basically you're telling Traktor that this channel will be taking the effect from the FX number 2, or from the FX number 1, or from both of them. Meaning, or without an effect at all. If you're using two tracks, and if you're trying to mix, you can apply the effects over here from channel 1 and the effects over here from channel 2. It's also something really cool. And again, you can use either each effect as it is. For example, I like to have always my delay, my flanger, my echo, and I just like to chain them around. And over here there's a really nice effect that is, there's the wormhole, there is auto bouncer. They have really, it comes really preloaded